back to the front porch. This is episode 3. I'm Jason Sykes, and with me is my trusty sidekick, Jordan. Can you say hello, Jordan?
Hello.
But we don't have a camera on you.
We got
to figure that out. It's okay though. But no, hey guys. So look, every episode, I'm going to bring you someone in the community. Someone that we all know, entrepreneur, business person, pastor, first responder, athlete, someone that can really give us some insight on some of the topics that we're talking about, and that is our youth of today and our youth of tomorrow. So the front porch is a part of Cultivate Vision, and that's a foundation that we created for our youth to give them, Jordan, what would you say? Tools, give them the inspiration, the leadership. We talk about our foundational words all the time, but, give them the things that they need so that they can be leaders moving forward. And, and also talk about topics and come up with some solutions, hopefully, that, we can pass on to others to, try to help some of the problems, alleviate some of the problems that we have going on today. However, I do have, and I'm going to tell you, I haven't known this guy long, but I was just saying earlier how scary it is, how much alike we are.
That is scary.
Yeah, it is. but I'll tell you, he got all the good. I mean, if we were brothers, he got all the good stuff and I got all the junk. But look, this is my dearest friend, Josh Craig. Okay, Josh, look, incredible fella. United States Marine. Thank you for your service, Josh. He served in the Marine Corps overseas. Josh is an MMA fighter. Josh is an MMA coach. Very successful individual. Currently, he's with the Rankin County Sheriff's Department. He's a school resource officer. He pours into our young people every single day. But I'm going to tell you what, most important, all right, Josh, I love you, brother. This guy, he loves people, all right? He's straightforward. I'll tell you what, he speaks more truth and logic than, the average Joe. I'll tell you that. But I'll tell you, man, I love him to death. I'm blessed to be able to call him my friend. Thank you for being on this show, Josh. We appreciate you coming.
Well, that was a heck of an introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I mean it. So today we're going to do things a little different. We're going to focus on one subject. And look, I'll tell you what, it's being talked about more and more. I mean, I've seen it more in the news this week than I have in a while, but, talking about bullying. And, what I wanted to do was kind of take a different approach. I'm sort of like, I like simplicity, okay? I try to simplify things in my life. And when I explain things, I try to explain it to where anybody can kind of understand what I'm coming from, So what I want to do, I want to dive into to this topic, and I'll tell you, some folks may be tired of talking about it. You see it in the news a lot, you hear about it a lot, and it's just something that's just completely, it seems like it's just ongoing and getting worse and worse, which in my opinion it is, okay? So to top things off, I'll tell you in the news this week, Monday, I believe it was. Yeah, Monday, I was watching Fox, and they were talking about a New Jersey superintendent resigned after a 14-year-old teen. She was being videoed while being beaten in the hallway of her school. And when the video got aired on social media, she committed suicide. I mean, it's terrible. Terrible story. And so I was on the internet just really watching that video, doing some research, and I stumbled across something else, New Jersey. It caught my eye because it's named after my daughter's name is Mallory. It's called Mallory's Law. Same thing. The parents of a young girl, Mallory Rose, I hope I pronounced this right, Grossman, advocated for some amendments to a law called Mallory's Law in New Jersey. Same thing, 12-year-old student committed suicide, and they believe that it was caused by relentless bullying. Josh, do you think it's getting worse?
I mean, I think it's a touchy subject, but I mean, absolutely, it's getting worse. Not worse as far as the physical and mental abuse they get in school. I think it's always been the same, but I think it's worse when we have the outlets as far as social media. You have Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You have everything that you can go on and post these videos, and not only are they humiliated at their school, they're humiliated online.
You know, that the instant thing, I think it's, someone just like this topic here. All right. Someone took a video. All right. And within seconds.
Absolutely. It's all over the world.
1 million people could see it in a second.
100%.
I mean, or more. And it's there. Okay. So, so here's the deal. So, I like this law, okay, that I mentioned. There's several others, okay, that school districts have changed, how they deal with bullying, how they deal with fights in school, etc. They change policies. But at the end of the day, how do we try and slow it down or stop, or, what can we do? Like, where did it come from, right? So, look, talk about simplicity. So, I every now and again, I like to play a game of dominoes. All right. And so I thought to myself, so I want to show, now this is what I think, and, Josh, you give me your input, but I want to kind of talk about, where does bullying come from? Okay. So y'all stick with me on this. Okay. I don't. Look, if you think I'm like being vague and I'm losing people, don't hit me. But just say, hey, Jason, get on track here. So,
right.
All right. So basically, look, these two dominoes, I'm going to be specific here. All right. So this one here, this is the bully being created. All right. Now this one is the person being bullied. All right. So we start out at birth. All right. We're a baby. Okay. All we care about is sleeping, eating, and
handling business.
That's it. And look, when babies cry, most of the time, what do we think?
They're hungry.
All right? Or when they cry,
need the diaper.
It's a side effect of being hungry and the business, right? So, but bottom line is that they're not really mad at anybody. No. They don't really know. I mean, there's no opinions formed, right?
No.
Okay, so
there's no prejudice.
No prejudice, nothing going on like that. They love everybody, goo goo gaga and all the things. They smile and all that kind of stuff. Fine. Okay, so next, all right, the next domino, we're going to move on to preschool. Now, I asked you this earlier, and it's funny because it is funny. It's amazing, too, to me, that, all right, being in my 40s, that I can still remember things. I mean, random, thoughts, memories, whatever. I have a memory of being in, 3-year-old kindergarten, and you had mentioned about the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, church, school, playground, sandbox. All right.
Yeah.
So back then, you really, look, school was fine. Whatever. You got to. Look, you got to take naps, you got to play, all the things. The only time you'd really get mad is if someone took something from you, right?
Right.
Like you said one time somebody took your soccer ball.
Somebody took a soccer ball, and then,
it was a bad day for him.
Yeah.
It was it. All right. But look, after that, everything was fine. Got your soccer ball back, it's all good.
Yeah, no grudge. No grudge.
No extended grudge, okay? I mean,
I don't even remember what it was about.
That's exactly right. Just look, boom, all right? So but again, so preschool, prejudice, none of that, nothing formed. All right. I remember at 5K, kindergarten. All right. I'm not going to say any names, but if she's watching this, I had my first kiss when I was 5 years old. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I did.
That's impressive.
5 years old.
That's impressive.
Hey, in the playground.
I didn't want nothing to do with him at 5 years old.
I didn't think I did either, but
Yeah.
it happened. I think, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it was more her than me. Who knows? But I just remember that happened, and that's that. Okay. All right. So now this is where the conversation is really going to get started. Okay. So now this next domino, if you guys can see, is say middle elementary, not first grade. You know, kindergarten, whatever.
So we're talking about like third
We're
through
talking
fifth.
about, yeah, third through fifth.
Okay.
So, all right, you're rolling into that. And not that, well, no.
They're starting to develop more of a personality.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and I'll say this, you know, and if I had the chance, because I can remember elementary school, and I can remember saying some things to some people that I regret. You know, I know that I hurt their feelings. And look, I'm gonna tell you this. Hey, all my buddies and friends, if you're watching this, you're about to laugh your head off. It's fine. It's cool because it's, you know. But hey, for some reason, when I was in elementary school, I think maybe a little bit in junior high, man, I had the reddest lips, dude. I did. Look. I had girls tell me that they wish they had my lips. It was bizarre. All right, I wish I had a picture pulled up. I should have done that. My mom sent me a picture, man, when I was in kindergarten. I think it was kindergarten graduation. But I was in this Zook suit. This was back in like it's like 70s, 1980 kind of deal. But man, you could see. You can see the red lip. Bottom line is, people would come up and say, man, you wear lipstick? You talk about mad. Okay. Mad.
You got upset.
I got mad. I did. I got upset.
Got in your feelings a little bit.
It got my wheeze, dude.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I'm not going to say it scarred me, but I mean, I remember it, so I guess maybe it did. Or whatever. But bottom line is, I know I said some things I shouldn't have said. Now, did I hate this person? No. Now, you know, no, I didn't hate them. I mean, but I thought it was funny. I thought
They
it was
probably
cool,
don't even know what they did.
Probably not. Whatever. But the bottom line is, this is the point I'm trying to make. All right. Right here in mid-elementary, though, so this bully's getting confident. I mean, and so, but the question too is why did I say bad things? I wonder. Was it because other people was doing it? It was cool. Was it because maybe I wasn't getting enough attention? At the house or from friends, or just kind of acting out. And then of course, if I make everybody else laugh, then the attention's on me. What say you, Josh? I mean,
You're trying to get the attention.
Exactly.
You want to be the center of attention. I mean, it depends on what your personality is. Some kids are quiet. Some kids have an outgoing personality.
Yeah.
Some kids want to be heard. Some kids don't.
Some kids can't shut up like me. I mean, it just,
Yeah. I'm the same way.
See, like I said,
Yeah.
won't get into that. But
Yeah.
this one right here is the bullied. All right, now, so, look. Like you said, everybody's wired different. So this person here, it might, even though they're that young, hey, the first scar got put on, right?
All right.
Okay, we can accept that possibly. All right, fine. Well, now we're gonna move on to me, the turning point. Wouldn't you say this would be the turning point?
And middle school.
Absolutely, middle school.
I think they're developing.
Middle school.
Developing more of their personality. I think they get in that puberty stage.
Oh yeah.
Especially the boys. I mean, the boys want to act out. They're starting to notice girls more. Girls are more mature. Boys are still trying to figure themselves out.
Hey,
it takes a lot
about what the girls think of them.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer for us to mature than it does a girl.
It does.
100%.
I tell you, and when the boys, start, throwing hands and doing things, I mean, back when I was growing up, I mean, that's because, I was mad because, one of my friends was talking to a girl that I wanted to talk to, competition, that kind of thing, whatever. Now, today, though, all right, we talked earlier about, all right, what's some of the reasons? Okay, well, when you get into middle school, you get into that you starting to get in that higher age sports category. So, you got the select teams and all the travel ball and all those things. So, sometimes kids, they think they're good. They think they're really good. They might, get a little overconfident and think that possibility they may think they're better than somebody else. What you think, Josh?
I mean, you got kids that are on, like what did you say earlier, select baseball teams,
right?
That may be a little too big for their britches. I mean, they can't even make the middle school team because maybe mom and dad paid for them to be on a certain team. Maybe they have a little more resources than another kid,
right?
Because you got a lot of kids that don't have the resources to go play baseball or whatever during the summertime or during the spring or whatever you want to call it.
That's a big build.
That's a big money maker out there for these organizations, and you got kids that go in there and they are used to a certain type of ball, and then they go in there and they can't play team ball with their high school team or middle school team. It all depends.
It does. And
they may be a great athlete.
Right.
But at the same time, there are kids out there with resources that could be doing the same thing they're doing, but they don't have that.
That's right. And so, and they develop some sort of
chip
on their shoulder,
absolutely.
Whatever,
Yeah.
And I'll say something else too. And look, I anything I say on here, I'm just as guilty. I'll admit to you. Being a parent is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And sometimes, I may act in a way that I shouldn't act, and they see that, and then, there we go. But, I also mentioned this in middle school. So you start to see the beginning of what I call social separation. Okay. So coming out of elementary school, you get into middle school. Now, where I grew up, so I had a bunch of elementary schools. So then when you got to middle school, which actually was junior high for me, so junior high would consist of, kids from like 3 elementary schools. So now all of a sudden I'm in a bigger school and there's a bunch of other, kids going there. So now all of a sudden it's like, all right, you're not the big man on campus.
You're a smaller
anymore.
fish in a much bigger pond.
Oh my gosh. And you talk about.
Well, I mean, look at Northwest.
Ugh.
Look at Northwest School District. I mean, they go from 5 different elementary schools into 1 middle school.
Oh man.
So you have 14 to 1,600 kids in 1 school, but they all migrate there from different schools.
Hold up. You said 1,600 kids.
14 to 1,600.
Jordan, how big our sanctuary church? How many folks that'll hold?
Probably about comfortably
Yeah.
1,000.
Oh man. So times 1.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so
That's a big deal.
Well, take Pisgah for instance. Pisgah schools.
I got you.
All right, you got the K4
Right.
through 12.
Right.
Roughly 1,000 students
In one school.
In one school.
One entire school. You have Northwest Rankin School District, 15 to 1,600, 6th through 8th only.
And this is in Mississippi.
This is in Mississippi.
Look.
We're not talking about Texas or New York or Florida.
Going back
California.
to Pisgah. All right, what'd you say? K4?
K4 through 12.
Man.
Roughly 1,000 students.
Growing up, if I went to a school I try to think if I did, that was K4 through 12, man, you talking about a lot of young folks getting stuck in lockers. That was a big deal. It was traumatized. Never happened to me, but thank God it was traumatized. Anyway, so middle school, bottom line is, like you said, it's life changing. It is.
Yeah.
Especially now. But then let's add this element. So now we didn't have this when I was in middle school, but so I think all the kids have computers or iPads or something.
I mean, every single one of them are on the Mac computers.
All right.
Yeah, all of them.
So now
They're issued
they've got
In what,
internet.
6th grade?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they're issued them in 5th. I'm not sure, but I know in 6th grade through 8th, when I worked at Northwest, they were issued a computer. Every kid.
I know every kid in high school has one. They have to
Yes,
now.
yes. They got to have a computer to do the work.
They
Bottom
take
line
tests on the
is-
computers. There's no
Yeah.
written test anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Bottom line is internet. What's on the internet?
Everything.
All right. So they're introduced that at whatever age that is. So at the end of the day, okay, this bully here in middle school, you got a couple of different types. All right. You got the casual bully. You got the one that, is getting brave, so
Okay.
to speak. You see where I'm going with that?
Getting
a little
bolder.
brave,
Getting bold.
getting bold. That's
All
right.
right.
Now, right here, all right, the person being bullied. Now, see, this is the turn right here, because now that you've got the internet type deal, okay, look, these kids are watching stuff on TV now that, man, if my folks would have, I don't get it. If my folks would have saw me watching some of the stuff these kids, it just didn't happen. But no, it didn't happen. But you're turning here. So going a 6th grader, especially going into how many kids you say again in middle school?
1,500.
1,500 in the 6th grade. I mean, that's like, man, you can get lost up there.
I mean, going from roughly 300-400
That's right.
to 1,500.
So bottom line is, it's a change of scenery. It's drastic. The volume of bullying is amplified times 10.
They're getting more freedom.
That's right. So the bullied, I mean, look, it could either just be, every now and again, or someone that was getting bullied a little bit in 5th grade. By the time they get to 6th grade, we got a problem. I mean, so it's a drastic separation here between the two, okay? So now we move on to the big kahuna. And I mentioned this earlier because in my notes I put here, so this domino represents high school, all right? And yeah, I asked Josh earlier, I was like, hey man, did you watch wrestling growing up? Of course, he looked at me like I was crazy. I mean, who didn't? I mean, look, Hulkamania, all that. What'd you say? The Ultimate Warrior?
Ultimate Warrior,
I mean, look,
Andre the Giant. I mean, you had all those.
I mean, these were icons. I mean, we looked up to these people as kids.
Yeah.
So I wrote down here, no holds barred. Now, of course, that was like what was that, the cage match or something, when pay-per-view, when you didn't have any money to buy it. So
Yeah.
you had to wait for the highlights to come out on the show the next day. Bottom line is, look, it's either going to go one way or the other once you get to high school. Because right now, and I'm going to ask you this, because I got two kids in high school right now. Okay, how many high school kids right now are on social media? What percentage you think?
What percentage of
What
kids?
percentage of kids, 9th grade and up, have a social media account, whether it be Instagram, TikTok,
On some type of social media, I'm going to say 100%.
100%.
I can't think of a kid that does not have one type of social media or the other.
100%.
Now, how many do you think are not being monitored by their parents?
It depends on the household, but I think the majority of it, 85%.
I'd agree with that.
I'm going to say at least 85%, because the main thing that I've noticed working in schools is social. If there wasn't social media, you would not have 85% of the problems.
No.
That's why I put that number on it. I mean, you can ask any administrator, any teacher, anybody that's been in the school system and worked it, they'll tell you the same thing, especially at middle school.
85%.
85%. And that's being generous, I think.
I'm gonna tell you. Look, and again, I'm gonna preface this. I'm not gonna mention anything that, you know, hey, I'm just as guilty. You know, right in the beginning, I think, you know, one of them might have got an Instagram account or something, and you know, I was like, okay, I feel like I raised my kids right. Now, not that they did anything wrong, but you know, all of a sudden I start seeing some stuff. I see these reels and all this kind of stuff on Instagram, and I look at Olivia. I'm like, hey, you think it's possible that some of that might get through to the kids?
It's gonna get
Hold
there.
up.
It's gonna get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bottom line is, so you got the social media deal, you got the instant thing. Look, just like what was on the news. All right, that I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But somebody getting bullied, getting videoed, somebody throwing it up there, and all of a sudden you pull up your phone device, whatever, and you see you on the internet getting humiliated. So for the bullied person, what do you think? There's no telling emotionally, and like you said, depends on how they're wired, okay?
Yeah,
how strong they are. But it is no telling how this person is going to feel. Now, the bully, all right. So let's dive into that. What? Look.
what are they thinking?
I can remember, all right, as a kid, like I said earlier, you know, you call somebody four eyes or you do this, you know, you get a rise out of the group, whatever. But to go to that extreme, what's that person thinking?
Well, they don't think it's the extreme anymore because it's out there all the time. The media shows it. It's not extreme to them anymore.
It's a part of their culture. It's a part of their culture.
It's a part of the culture now.
Constant environment.
So take for instance, if somebody's getting robbed in the street,
right?
How many people you think are going to help, and how many people you think are going to record it on their phones?
Oh man, no one wants to jump in that.
Exactly.
They're going to record on the phone.
Exactly. Well, that's the problem we have in society.
Yeah.
So why would you want to record someone getting robbed instead of stopping that or helping them? Now, of course, if there's a weapon involved, you want to make sure you don't put yourself in harm's way. But at the same time, you can see somebody getting jumped.
All I'm gonna say is
it's in the culture, so they don't think it's a problem when they take a video of somebody getting beat up. So that person that was doing the beating, maybe they didn't post that on social media, but you had little Joe Cool back there that's the funny guy, wants to post everything, and then he posted on there to get his likes or to get his social media ramped up,
right?
Because that's how you get famous nowadays.
It is.
And that's how a lot of people make their money.
Absolutely.
They make millions of dollars.
The more likes you get, the more followers you get. What is it like? Is it 10,000 followers on Instagram or something, and you can start making money?
It's not much.
It's something like that. But obviously, if you have a million followers,
oh, you're making bank.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you
making content.
And so all right. So the generational separation. All right. I'm gonna say this. You mentioned part of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We didn't have that growing up.
We didn't. If we did, things probably would have been different.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
however,
yeah, absolutely.
we didn't. And okay,
absolutely.
you talk about
we'd have been the same way.
Right. I agree with you. But we talk about, saying you witnessed somebody getting jumped, robbed, or whatever. Okay, look, I've witnessed that. All right. Well, we didn't have a phone.
No.
All right. We had a fist. That kind of stuff. I mean, now, I'm not saying folks didn't throw hands, but I can tell you this, the older I got, I can remember, there was a guy in school. He never bothered anybody. Never bothered a soul. Nicest fella you could ever meet. And one day, a group of kids just decided to mess with him, and they beat up on him. Well, that's to be continued. I mean, you know, it just we just, you know, that kind of stuff just didn't go on. You know, it did, but it's different. All right,
it's different because we didn't have the outlet that these kids have, and we didn't have the access to post something where somebody in California could see it anytime they wanted to. It was just isolated to our local community.
Right.
And now it's not.
Right.
That's where it escalates. That's where the bullying escalates, and you're literally humiliated to the entire world. Whereas when we were growing up, I mean, I think the rich people had car phones, but that's literally all you had. And that was very few and far between. If me and you wanted to meet up at Burger King for lunch, I had to say, hey, Jason, meet me at Burger King at 12:30. I'll be there. If you're not there, I can't text you. I can't hit you up on the gram. I mean,
hey, look, I remember when I was a senior in high school, I had a beeper, and I had a quarter.
You thought you was cool, didn't you?
Yeah,
you thought you was cool with that beeper.
I thought, oh shit. Hey, look, I sold beepers in college, man. That's how. I had everybody beeping. That's how I paid the rent. You know, but back to this real quick. And we could talk about this all night, but at the end of the day, so right here, we got the bully and we got the person being bullied. And look, what concerns me, I'm concerned with both of them, but I'm going to start with this one here. The one that's being bullied. Let's say it started in middle elementary school. All right. So okay, let's just say the second grade, third grade, fine,
all right, third grade.
So 15 years of basically, you know, out of 15 years, you might have had 10 to 20 good days of school out of 15 years. So mentally, emotionally, hey, we could dive off in the PTSD type topic, possibly. I mean, what are we talking about damage-wise to that person? This person hadn't even gotten to college yet. Okay, this person hadn't even gotten a job yet. And now look, I'm not talking about all of them. Some of them will go on about life. They'll have those scars.
They'll take it and improve themselves.
Take it. That's right. They'll improve themselves.
But you have a lot of kids nowadays that are in an entitled generation.
That's right.
Unfortunately, and they don't take adversity as well as I think we did back in the day.
Right.
I think everybody, you know, we're in the era of participation trophies.
There you go.
I mean,
spot on.
The reason I say participation trophies because back in the day, you learned how to lose.
You did.
I mean, you didn't get a participation trophy and say, hey, everybody did a great job. No, our coach got in our face. He said, we did a terrible job. We got to fix these problems. And we fixed them, and we got better.
That's right.
And that's how you get better in life. Is you lose, you fail.
Yeah.
If you don't fail, you will never get better.
That's right.
I've failed so many times I can't even count, but I'm blessed to this day because I didn't let my failure bring me down. I let it bring me up. I let it make me step up a level. And until these kids that are getting bullied learn how to channel into something positive.
That's right.
Because these kids aren't going to be around when they become our age.
That's right.
Or if they are, they're going to be in prison. They're going to be dead. They're going to be a guy working at Burger King as the manager. I'm not saying that working at Burger King as a manager is a bad thing, right. But I'm just saying they're not going to, the bullies 9 times out of 10 have other things that happen to them in their personal life.
That's right.
That's making them lash out on someone else. They may be bullied at home by their dad, their mom. They may be abused. Physically or sexually.
That's right.
And then that where it comes into the bullying, you got, you know, these kids that are getting sexually bullied.
That's right.
I mean, we can literally dive down a rabbit hole.
No, we could.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what. So what you just said, So I mean, what you just said equals the conclusion that I come up with in my mind. So, truth be told, if you dissect the life of a bully and the life of someone that is being bullied, okay, at the end of the day, all right, like you said before, these bullies, eventually, the majority of them, they're going to face a self-destruction. All right? They're going to come tumbling down. The ones that have been bullied, now we mentioned some of them will take that, they'll channel it, they'll get better. But unfortunately, with the world we're in today, the majority of them, it's going to scar them.
It's going to damage them.
It's going to damage them. It's going to push them to the brink of breaking one way or the other.
Or breaking completely.
That's exactly right. And here we go. So, what we just witnessed here is the destruction of two types of people, basically. And unfortunately, in my opinion, and when you really look in the school system, the majority of the kids, they're either the bullies or they're the ones being bullied, most of them.
To a certain extent.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, I would venture, I mean, I don't know if I'd say it's the majority, but I mean, it's a profound amount. Would you agree?
I mean, I don't know how profound it would be, but I just think you have a lot of cliques, especially with, like we talked about, 1,500 students. Mm-hmm. You have some kids that don't even know others' names.
That's right.
They have no idea who you are. So it may be their small little group, but there's still an impact on their life.
You just hit the nail on the head. Are you reading my notes?
See,
like I said, it's scary how much alike we are. It's nuts. So, all right, we're going to wrap this up because actually we really could talk a whole lot more about this, and I kind of want to in the future. I want to kind of do episode number 2 off of this one because really it's something that we really need to, okay, now we've figured out or we've talked about some of the causes of this. Would you call this a epidemic?
I don't know if I call it an epidemic.
That the right word? Maybe
I would call it a social issue.
Big issue.
A social issue. I mean, because you have a lot of kids that don't get bullied.
Right.
But at the same time, this kid right here that was bullied his entire life, if he doesn't channel that and he doesn't take it to a positive aspect and move on,
right,
he could commit suicide.
Right.
He could become one of these mass shooters.
That's right.
He could lash out at his brothers or sisters at home.
That's right. Or some innocent person.
Yeah, I mean, look at Luke Woodham.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of a kid being bullied from the time he was in elementary school to the time he was in high school, and he snapped. Does that give him a right to do what he did? Absolutely not.
No.
But at the same time, you got to look at the whole picture.
You got to look at how he was somewhat created, how his mind was formed. But I'm gonna take it one step further. So, all right, you mentioned the person that goes through school and has never been bullied before. Okay, well, let me ask you this question: how many times has he witnessed somebody being bullied and didn't do anything?
It's been several times.
Okay,
I mean, you at least
and
have
that's
seen
why
it.
I mentioned earlier. Now this didn't happen all the time, but when I was growing up, when we would witness someone like these videos I see of these kids getting, beat up in school over nothing, right? We would step in and stop it. Okay?
Yeah.
But now all you see is it's like paparazzi.
Yeah, everybody
That's
wants to get those clicks and those likes, and I think that's where the biggest problem lies. We don't take care of one another like we used to, and we had a problem when we were growing up, and we did some things that we regret.
That's right.
But I do feel like as a whole we try to take better care of each other and didn't try to. There wasn't a social media.
No.
There wasn't that outlet to where we could get famous if we put a video up that goes viral.
Social media was Sonic drive-through.
That's exactly
You know
what it
what I'm
was.
saying?
Or hanging out at Burger King
That's right.
on a Friday night.
Something.
I mean, yeah.
But I want to say this real quick. A couple of things that we're gonna wrap this up. So, but this is really what you just said, Josh. I heard this, and I kind of changed some of the words up a little bit. But basically, this is a statement that I feel like is true today. So, we as a community, a church, a school, etc., we don't know how to comfort someone that is hurting inside or that is in need of a friend. As a result, they constantly feel alone. That person feels absolutely alone. And that may be the worst feeling a person can possibly have. And I'm going to leave you guys with a thought. All right? I read this in a book the other day. I want you to think about this. So, evil starts. All right, we're going to talk about a young age. All right, evil starts in our thinking, our imagination, and that's in our hearts. We need to watch not just our actions, but also we need to think about what our thoughts are. What are we thinking about? What's our attitude? What's our motives? What we imagine can come to reality, good or bad. So, what's the saying? Garbage in, garbage out.
Yep. We need to do a better job taking care of one another.
We do. Josh, I love you, brother.
Enjoyed it.
I'm not going to kiss you on TV, but, man, I appreciate you. I thank God for your friendship, you and your wife. I can't thank you enough for what you do for our young people, what you do for our community, what you do for everybody. Brother, I can tell you, everyone you come in contact with, you make a positive impact. You influence me, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time on the front porch. Thank you.